Wow. Wow. An exciting find, to say the least. We can learn a lot from this one spearpoint, thought to be Clovis, that was found in the Calico Hills area. And it's 4 3/4 inches long, making it the largest spearpoint that is really one of the finest. Actually, I believe it is the finest spearpoint of its size that I have seen in the last 35 to 40 years of exploring the Lake Manix paleo shoreline. This is, Dr. Michael Gramley estimates that 80% of the surface artifacts in the Calico Hills area are of Clovis origin, dating between around 12 to 14,000 years before present. 20% of the surface artifacts are pre-Clovis. Those are mainly stemmed points that come to a narrow stem at the base and flare out to have a little larger leaf shape or ace of spades shaped blade. This is more parallel sided, and I have a frame of these that are featured on both my website, antiquitiesoftheamericas.com, along with my YouTube channel, Antiquities of the Americas, and a frame of Lake Manix Paleo Clovis type spear points and knives. This is the finest example that I've seen of its size, and like I say, in ever. It was found. I found this on the surface in two pieces. I found the tip, and when I found the tip, I knew I had to find the base. And sure enough, I looked a foot or two to my left, and there it was, laying on the surface, very visible and very obvious. And very fortunate to have found this spear point. This spear point, again, tells us a lot. Over the past 35 years, my fellow surface collectors and colleagues have found numerous broken spear points, knives, and preforms on the surface of the Lake Manix shoreline. And we glue them together with super glue, but we learn a lot in doing so. For example, had this not been broken in paleo times, which we can tell by this side here, and we'll get to that in just a moment. If it hadn't been broken in paleo times, it probably would have been found about 2 inches long, because the Clovis Indians, they used these up to a nub. They would use them up to just a nub, to where they were too obtuse to continue using them, and then they'd discard them, usually modifying them into story stone, face and mammoth effigy offerings. This broke, and of course that's why it's 4 3/4 inches long, because it did break in paleo times, and that's where we can learn a lot. We can also see that this is the hafting area down here, and there's no resharpening right here. But when we get up to about this point here, this being the hafting area here, with the spear point having extended about like that, this has an indent, and you can see that it's been resharpened on both edges probably one time. So this was probably a 1/2 inch longer at one time. And what happens is, because it was used as a spear point, we know that because of this impact fracture that sliced off one side of the tip. When the tip hit something hard, maybe like a bone of a large animal, this spear point is large enough to have taken down or been used in a mammoth or mastodon hunt, or in a Pleistocene elk hunt or Pleistocene bison hunt, or even in an altercation with another tribe, used in some kind of protection or warfare of some sort. But it's a large point, and it's beautifully done. that, like I say, the tips are usually come to a sharp edge, like the rest of the blade edges on this. But this has that impact fracture there. It didn't really distort the symmetry of the point and didn't draw away from its overall beauty and character. It's beautifully flaked, just absolutely extremely well done for the Calico Hills artifact assemblage. And then, of course, on this side, we know now that it broke in ancient times because we have this dual patina. So we have the orange patina where the base was laying face down in the lake bed sands that are rich in iron, and the iron over thousands of years would iron oxide would form and would stain the base here, the orange color. This tip has been, on the other hand, laying face up, and it's patinated white from being sun bleached over the last 12 to 14,000 years. Just a really outstanding Lake Manix, Calico Hills, 4 3/4 inch, thought to be Clovis point. One of the finest, or actually the finest I've seen to date for its length.